Welcome back. Thanks for staying tuned to Times Now. Well, remember, Shah Rukh Khan's Pathaan has hit the screens today, but not without any controversy. Remember, it's been surrounded with controversy, a lot of noises that have been coming in from across the country with regards to the changes that were demanded by several, including the fringe elements in the country. Now remember, Bajrang Dal, the likes of VHP as well, once again taking to streets to protest against Shah Rukh Khan's Pathaan that's hit the cinema halls today itself. The boycott brigade at it yet again. They've hit the theatres calling for an all-out ban on the movie. Workers of Bajrang Dal, Vishwa Hindu Parishad are both protesting against the film of Shah Rukh Khan, and these protests not taking place in one part of the country but in several states like Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh and Karnataka.
So these protests that are being seen as an attempt to dissuade the movie goers from watching the movie, and due to the ongoing uproar, screening was also cancelled in Madhya Pradesh's Indore. However, many locations just in Madhya Pradesh, as we are looking at, such kind of protests and vandalism have been reported at several movie theatres.
पठान फिल्म जो रिलीज हुई है यहाँ पे मौलिया पहन के जो अश्लीलता दिखाई गई है उसमें उपलक्ष्य में हमारा विरोध है कि ये जो मूवी किसी भी थिएटर में नहीं चलेगी। अगर फिल्म नहीं रोकी जाती तो बजरंग दल द्वारा उग्र आंदोलन और बढ़ाया जाएगा और उग्र आंदोलन किया जाएगा। क्लियर में मूवी नहीं चलेगी, और अगर मूवी चलेगी इसके बाद भी आएंगे तो हमारा उग्र प्रदर्शन इसी तरीके से चलता रहेगा।
संस्कृति बचाओ मंच के कार्यकर्ता टिकट लेकर अंदर बैठेंगे और अगर उसमें किसी भी प्रकार से आपत्तिजनक कोई फिल्मांकन किया गया होगा तो वो वहीं पर टाकीज में बैठकर विरोध करेंगे। हम फिल्म टाकीज मालिकों से, सिनेमा फ्लेक्स मालिकों से ये निवेदन करना चाहते हैं और चेतावनी भी देना चाहते हैं कि आप ये ध्यान रखिएगा कि अगर किसी भी प्रकार से हमारी संस्कृति या हमारी सभ्यता को कहीं भी आघात पहुंचाने का प्रयास किया जाएगा तो संस्कृति बचाओ मंच उसे कतई बर्दाश्त नहीं करेगा।
सामाजिक तत्व कहा जाए, जो भी नवयुवक लोग आए थे वो विरोध कर रहे थे कि मत चलाइए भगवा ड्रेस के लेकर के। उसके बाद हम लोग सुनिए कि पोस्टर फाड़ करके चले गए। प्रशासन का मैंने लिखित दे दिए हैं और आश्वासन मिला है कल हमको बजाते 10 बजे फोर्स भेज जाएगी, वो हिसाब से चलाएंगे।
So yes, as protests continue, several political reactions have also been coming in. The Congress, for example, has been blaming the Madhya Pradesh Home Minister Narottam Mishra over these protests that are still ongoing in the state by several of these fringe elements, because remember, he was one such leader who came out and demanded those changes in the song in particular, if we talk about Besharam Rang. But yes, since we do see how this kind of a call is being given to shut the theatres where this film is being screened, these questions being asked by the Congress party.
देखिए, पठान मूवी का तो विवाद शुरू हुआ तो मध्य प्रदेश से शुरू हुआ था। बीजेपी के कुछ नेताओं ने इसको हवा दी थी। अब आज जब पठान जो मूवी रिलीज हो रही है उसको लेकर कोई अप्रिय घटना मध्य प्रदेश में ना हो, इसलिए मैं शिवराज सिंह चौहान जी से मांग करता हूं कि सुरक्षा के कड़े इंतजाम किए जाएं और कोई भी लॉ ऑर्डर की व्यवस्था को बिगाड़ ना सके, इसकी जिम्मेदारी शिवराज सरकार को लेनी चाहिए। पुलिस बल भारी संख्या में तैनात करना चाहिए। तो शिवराज सिंह चौहान जी की सरकार क्यों इस संबंध के अंदर कोई तैयारी ऐसी नहीं कर रही है? अगर किसी भी जगह पर कोई भी अप्रिय घटना घटती है इस मूवी को लेकर तो जिम्मेदार पूरी तरह से शिवराज सरकार होगी।
So the Congress party, they are raising those questions and solely holding the Shivraj Singh Chauhan government accountable if there is a law and order situation. This despite the fact that the censor board has already given a clearance to the movie and already an advice that has come on part of the Prime Minister asking the BJP workers and karyakartas not to indulge in such kind of activities that shows the party in a bad light. Let's listen into the State Home Minister as well.
तो लॉ एंड ऑर्डर की स्थिति को लेकर सर आपको नहीं पूरी तरह से शांति रहेगी।
Well, remember, there is a controversy that's been ongoing with regards to this particular movie since the very first day, when the first trailer was released, when the first song of the film was released, and thereafter changes were also made. In fact, those changes then were approved by the censor board, and yet despite going ahead with the changes, the filmmakers continue to face these kind of hate messages wherein a call is still being given to ban the film. Today, remember, is the first day that Pathaan has hit the screens. More details coming in this report. All right, Govind is also joining us live. Before we get you more ground reports, Govind, what can you tell us about the ground situation? We're being told that The film is not being allowed to screen in several places. Protesters, mainly belonging to some of the fringe groups, have hit the streets. They can be seen tearing the posters. Kya chal raha hai, Govind? What's going on?
You know that it's the Home Minister of Madhya Pradesh first made his statement against this movie, in fact specifically about the song Besharam Rang in Indore, and now you see that a number of Hinduvadi organizations have started protesting against the screening and the release of this movie all across the state in Madhya Pradesh, whether in Gwalior, in Indore, in Bhopal. Right now I'm reporting from Rang Mahal Talkies. You see that how the poster has been torn by the Hinduvadi organizations here in this premises of Rang Mahal Talkies. We have the president of Sanskriti Bachao Manch, Mr. Chandrasekhar Tiwari with us. Chandrasekhar ji, बताइए कि फिल्म को रिव्यू करके भी पास कर दिया सेंसर बोर्ड ने, आप लोग किस चीज को लेकर इसका विरोध कर रहे हैं?
देखिए, मुझे लग रहा है कि कुछ वर्षों से हिंदू संस्कृति, हिंदू देवी देवताओं को टारगेट बनाकर जो है फिल्मों का निर्माण किया जा रहा है। तो अब ये हिंदुस्तान की जनता वही शाहरुख खान है ये जिनको कि सर्कस सीरियल से उठाकर सुपरस्टार बनाने वाली हिंदुस्तान की जनता है।
ये सब चीजें आपकी मर्जी से चलेगी, नियम कानून से चलेगी। जब सेंसर बोर्ड ने रिव्यू करके भी,
हाँ, सेंसर बोर्ड ने अपना काम किया है। हिंदुस्तान की जनता अगर किसी को सुपर हीरो बनाना जानती है तो बायकाट करके जमीन चटाना भी जानती है, और ये बायकाट ही हो रहा है। ये पूरा विरोध प्रदर्शन हमारी संस्कृति और हमारी सभ्यता से कोई समझौता नहीं।
आप लोगों को जिससे ऐतराज था वो तो हटा दिया गया कि पूरी फिल्में ही बैन कर दी।
नहीं, हम तो ऐसी अश्लील फिल्मों को आप दिखाइए ना, संदेशात्मक फिल्म दिखाइए। फिल्म दिखा रहे हैं
आपका विरोध क्या है? आपका विरोध क्या है? क्या फिल्म को ही पूरी तरह से
स्टोरी क्या है? पठान फिल्म में क्या स्टोरी है? एक आतंकवादी की स्टोरी। हमारे युवाओं को आतंकवादी की वो देना चाहते हो आप, संदेश देना चाहते हो? संदेशात्मक फिल्में
right-wing groups seem to be taking law in their own hands despite the clearance that has been given by the CBFC and despite ignoring the fact that the message has been given clearly by the Prime Minister of the country. We have opened our phone lines to those viewers who are watching the broadcast right now. We'll be taking your opinion live on air. I'm told Mansi, Venkatesh and Vijay have been patiently holding the line. Thank you very much, Mansi. What do you have to say?
Madam, why you are talking like that? Everybody has freedom of speech and expression. You are talking for freedom, for documentary, and for here, those who are protesting, why you are telling them they should not protest?
I'm talking about the protests that have taken law in their own hands. This vandalism is something that cannot be encouraged at any cost. If there is a difference of opinion with the movie, that is more or less welcomed by anybody in this country, Mansi. Thank you very much. We also have Venkatesh also with us on the phone line. Good afternoon, Venkatesh.
Good afternoon. I'm a big fan of Times Now and especially Dr. Arvind Ranganathan. So just to borrow his phrase of 30 seconds, there are three important things. One is, if you look at the reviews, and I've spoken to a bunch of my friends who've seen the movie, people, the reviews are really horrible. You know, people regret that they spend the time, energy and money to see the movie. So somebody should tell these protesters that the film is anyway heading towards a flop, so don't take law into your own hands.
Okay.
And by the way, when it comes to taking law in their own hands, of course, it's not to be encouraged, etc. But at the same time, they are not beheading people. They are not saying Sartan se juda. But any kind of illegal stuff has to be opposed, absolutely. And I am with you on this.
Okay. Mr. Venkatesh, appreciate your point of view. That's the exact point that we're trying to make, that law must not be taken into their own hands as far as these protests are concerned. And if at all you have an objection to the film, do not watch the film. That's the only way you should go about it, especially given that certain demands were raised, changes were asked for, and all of those concerns have been addressed. Let me go across to Radhika, my colleague joining us from Mumbai. Radhika, what are you picking up on day one as Pathaan has now been released? It's hit the theatres.
Yes, in fact, as far as day one release of Pathaan is concerned, we see a lot of excited fans rushing to see the film. There is a lot of excitement and buzz surrounding the film, certainly. And the filmmakers also are releasing press releases talking about the unprecedented buzz as far as the film is concerned, talking about the number of screens that it has hit, the record-breaking, booking, advance booking and so on. At least about 8,000 screens is where it is released worldwide, of which 5,000 domestic release. But, as far as the whole outrage and protest into their hands, and action will be initiated if there is any sort of chaos and ruckus created. So as far as Maharashtra, Mumbai is concerned, it has largely remained peaceful. Most of the theatres are running full, but it's in certain isolated parts of Maharashtra in the past as well that we saw outrage and protest. But post the edits and cuts, we've been seeing
mixed reactions so far, even when it comes to the fans who are super excited to watch Shah Rukh Khan's next movie. Of course, it is coming and releasing after a very long time. Let me also welcome Shoaib Chaudhary, who is with us here on the broadcast, and Mr. Mukesh Tyagi as well. Good afternoon to both of you. Shoaib, what do you make of these protests? I mean, this is something that is unwarranted, the kind of people who have been taking law in their own hands despite the clearance that has been given by the CBFC. What do you say?
No, it's a complete law and order failure by the state. Seeing that it's a hugely successful film across the globe, the entire country and its citizens should be proud of Shah Rukh Khan and the film that he has made, which is so widely popular and successful across the world right now. These Fringe must look at, they've not even, the Home Minister of Madhya Pradesh and the Assam Chief Minister had assured the entire country that there will be a proper screening of the film and no disturbance will be allowed to happen.
Law and order is a state subject. If, for example, Mr. Chaudhary, what my colleague just told us about the situation in Mumbai, if, adequate security deployment can take place in, the financial capital of the country, then why not in places where we're seeing this kind of ruckus? I'll come back to you, sir. We also have Vijay Shankar Tyagi of the VHP joining us. Vijay Shankar Tiwari, I beg your pardon, of the VHP joining us on the phone line. Mr. Tiwari, क्या कहेंगे, क्योंकि VHP के भी काफी कार्यकर्ता सड़कों पे उतर आए हैं. आज पहला दिन है, पठान सिनेमा में लग गई है, फिर भी ऐसे प्रोटेस्ट जारी हैं. काफी सारी डिमांड रखी गई थी सामने, चेंजेस भी लाए गए, CBFC ने भी पास कर दिया मूवी को, फिर भी ये प्रोटेस्ट जारी है सर.
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल. देखो, ऐसा है कि आज पठान फिल्म जो है, इसके लिए पूरा बॉलीवुड और बहुत बड़े देश के बड़े बड़े लोग, वो कभी भी इससे किसी भी फिल्म के लिए चलाने के लिए इतनी ताकत नहीं लगानी पड़ी. आज जहां पर ये हैं, उसका एक कारण बॉलीवुड की अपना चरित्र है कि हर फिल्म में हिंदू विरोधी रुख लेकर के फिल्मांकन करना. लेकिन पठान किसी भी फिल्म का हम विरोध केवल यूं ही नहीं करते कि फिल्म का विरोध करना है, इसलिए विरोध कर रहे हैं. पठान मूवी का था क्योंकि बेशरम रंग भगवा.
सर, जो आपको आपत्ति थी उस गाने से, कलर से, भगवा रंग जो इस्तेमाल किया गया था, वो तक बदल दिया फिल्म मेकर्स ने.
मेरी बात सुन लीजिए, मैं आपकी बात कर रहा हूँ कि बेशरम रंग भगवा को लेकर के हमारी कड़ी आपत्ति थी, वो उन्होंने ठीक कर दी है. अब हम ये कह रहे हैं कि जो जनता है, जनता विरोध करती है, जनता के मन में इतना विष भर दिया गया है और इतना.
तो सर, तोड़ फोड़ पे क्यों उतर आते हैं? अगर आपको आपत्ति है, आपको विरोध जताना है, बड़े तरीके हैं सर अपना विरोध जताने के लिए. तोड़ फोड़ पे क्यों उतर आते हैं? धमकी क्यों देने लग जाते हैं लोगों को जिनको मूवी देखनी है? सर, उनके पास भी पूरा राइट है, बुक करिए टिकट, पैसे लगाए हैं, मूवी देखना चाहते हैं, क्यों नहीं?
अरे बात तो सुनिए मेरी. मैं कह रहा हूँ कि उन्होंने सेंसरशिप जो थी, जो हमारा विरोध था, वो विरोध उन्होंने
नहीं. मतलब आपको भरोसा नहीं है सेंसर बोर्ड पे?
अरे आप मेरी बात ही नहीं सुन रही हैं. तो अब मैं कह रहा हूँ सेंसर बोर्ड ने हमारा जो आपत्ति थी वो ठीक कर दी है. इसलिए आम समाज जो प्रोटेस्ट कर रहा है, वो तो जो उसके मन में भरा हुआ है.
सर, इसे आम समाज मत बोलिए. वहां पे कई जितने लोग मिले हैं, वो अपने आप को बता रहे हैं कि वो VHP से एसोसिएटेड है या बजरंग दल से एसोसिएटेड है. तोड़ फोड़ पे अगर उतर आते हैं तो फिर ये लॉ एंड ऑर्डर सिचुएशन बन जाती है. तिवारी जी,
बिल्कुल.
आपका बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद हमारे साथ जुड़ने के लिए. हमारे बहुत सारे व्यूवर्स भी हमें कॉल कर रहे हैं और हमें अपनी बात सामने रख रहे हैं. लेकिन मुकेश जी, व्हाट डू यू मेक ऑफ दिस? एज इट कैन नॉट बी नाउ ब्लेम्ड ऑन द आम जनता, बिकॉज इवन इफ द जनता हैज अ प्रॉब्लम विद द मूवी, दे विल नॉट सी इट. What is the kind of, this statement that has been given that this is the armed janta who's out on the streets taking law in their own hands?
Prime Minister Modi has made a very categorical statement that not to make any irresponsible remarks against any film. Now, if it is an objectionable piece, then obviously there are ways to protest. You can always go to CBFC and lodge a protest that this thing, and I think CBFC has already rectified some of the objectionable piece of saffron elements. Now, there should be no roadblocks for the peaceful release of the film. I have not seen the movie, but somebody who has seen the movie has said that they are retaining substantially saffron color. So I have really no idea what exactly has happened. But, in case of Arakshan, when Mayawati had banned the movie for 2 months, Supreme Court came out very heavily on the state government, said that you cannot take the law and order as the basis for banning the film. Law and order responsibility squarely lies on the state government, and they need to give adequate protection, adequate safe passage to all the viewers who want to go and watch the film. It is the state government's pure responsibility. Now, as far as this fringe element, which is protesting, you cannot, I think, you can give a political flavor to it, but at the same time, there can be a very different section of the society who have come together to protest against the release of the film for whatever the reasons. We have already dealt how the Hindu bashing has been continuously and perpetually being shown in the film. So maybe they are reacting to the apprehension that this film is perhaps again a replication of some Hindu bashing.
But sir, then that ends up fueling a lot of tensions, and if you do that, it ends up being extremely dangerous, and the result of it is for everyone, all of us to see today. People who have a problem, an issue with the film, the theme of the film, a certain song of the film, they must opt out, they must not go and watch it. Let those who are paying for the film go and watch it peacefully. That's the simple request that we can make here on Times Now. Thank you for speaking to us, both gentlemen. We continue to track those protests here on Times Now and get you more news and updates.